reason I started the Sedona conference was because I had taught at a number of CLE programs, primarily in the area of antitrust law, which was my area of expertise. And it always seemed like a waste of everybody's time, faculty's time to prepare for their presentation, the people that attended the CLE to passively collect CLE credits because they were required to do so, but instead of actually learning something or sharing their experiences, they were doing crossword puzzles, they were doing client work, they were going golfing. And it just seemed like a waste of brain power. So the original concept behind the Sedona conference was to structure a small dialogue-based conference that has a large faculty that includes plaintiffs' lawyers, defense lawyers, members of the bench, academics, economists where appropriate, to limit the participant base originally to 45 people that were also experienced in the area we were looking at, that also had the same sense of balance between plaintiff and defense and different viewpoints and perspectives, so that we could actually engage in a day and a half of dialogue about the tipping point areas of the law that would let the people leave the room after a day and a half of dialogue with new ideas, new viewpoints, new perspectives that nobody had before they came into the room. To achieve that, we had the faculty, which was 15 people generally, stay in the room throughout the day on the dais. Nobody came in and was a talking head. Conferences were organized around panels. Nobody came in just to give a presentation. The panelists would dialogue amongst themselves because we had a limited 45-person participant base. They would get engaged in the dialogue, and if you read and study, there's rich literature on dialogue. Dialogue leads to collective wisdom. Dialogue leads to better, more creative ideas than any one person sitting alone in a room could come up with. The dialogue-based conference idea, including multiple perspectives and viewpoints, experienced practitioners, members of the bench, took off immediately. It was probably embraced first by the bench, even before the bar. Because of the rules of ethics, judges had very few opportunities to engage in this kind of dialogue with leading practitioners outside of oral argument setting in a courtroom or a trial setting in a courtroom. And the bar appreciated the opportunity for interaction with the bench for the same reason, and they appreciated the opportunity to interact with their peers, whether opposing side or their same side, to understand strategies, what the tipping points were, different ways to look at them, better ways to handle cases. Several lawyers have commented to me that going to one of our conferences is the best way to prepare for a Supreme Court argument, because you understand better how the other side would argue a case, how the other side looks at the same issues that you're looking at, getting out of your own box. Another mechanism to encourage the dialogue is something called the Sedona rules. What's said in Sedona stays in Sedona. The whole point was to encourage candor. We didn't audio tape, we didn't videotape, we didn't allow press to come to our conferences. We wanted an environment of trust. There were several conferences where we had opposing counsel, live litigation, talking about their trial strategies. Wouldn't happen without the Sedona rules. In 12 years of doing our conferences, no one has violated the Sedona rules. But because of the Sedona rules, because we limited the participant base to 45 in addition to the faculty, we weren't reaching a broad cross-section of the bench and bar. So about 3 years of doing just our dialogue-based conferences, we came up with the idea to do something called the Working Group Series, which is a series of mini think tanks that begin with the same composition of diverse viewpoints, expertise, members of the bench, members of the plaintiffs' bar, defense bar, academics, experts where appropriate, that would take a tipping point area of the law identified in one of our regular season conferences and create drafting teams that would work on commentaries, best practices, principles, or guidelines that could help move the law forward in a reasoned and just way. Because we formed our working groups with multiple perspectives represented, there was peer review within the drafting process. Every commentary that we create is posted first for the general public in a public comment form for a period of about 9 months to 12 months, so that all members of the public who read it could offer their own comments, and then the original drafting team would go back and look at the comments, look at their original work, and revise and edit as might be appropriate before the commentary is issued in final form. We are now now at a point 12 years into our existence where we have some 900 to 1,000 members of our various working groups. We do about 10 programs a year, ranging from the original format conference with 45 attendees and 15 faculty to very large, more traditional CLE-based type programs of 150 or more, but still dialogue-based. In the larger programs, the dialogue occurs amongst primarily the panelists. In the smaller conferences, it exists with the panelists and the participants. We don't have audiences, we have participants. And in our working group meetings, the dialogue consists of everyone, and instead of faculty, we have dialogue leaders. What does this mean for the law student of today? It means that learning to listen to others, learning to understand the value of dialogue will help you be a better lawyer, will help you strategically, will help you analytically, will help you better serve your client's interests, and will help you better be an officer of the court. So I encourage you all to embrace dialogue in your day-to-day life, in your professional careers, and when you have some pro bono time, join one of our working groups and help us create some commentaries for the future. Thank you very much.